G'day, g'day. This is Kyle Shepard, logging on. I'm here to share my thoughts with you because I have grown into such a situation. You can't do it. You cannot do this when you're stoned. You just cannot do it. It's the weirdest thing, you jump in, 2 feet in, and bazinga. Oh, I get why people are so fidgety and so weird on YouTube. It's like the camera's rolling. You can hesitate as much as you want, but if you don't come up with something fairly interesting fairly soon, people are gonna lose attention. And what's this all about if not getting attention? I like attention, I like getting attention, and I like giving attention when I'm feeling smooth and easy. But when I'm feeling stressed and nervous or pressured or like the spotlight's on me and I have to perform, well, I don't really like that at all, and I don't really like being around people when I feel like that. Okay. My life, I've got a really rich, interesting story. I think I'll write a book about it someday, or at least a one-man play. But I've also been told by my neighbor, who's a therapist and like a somatic body healer, and just a lovely healer, and also fellow small dog owner. She said that I'm stuck in my story, and that I do resonate with. There's a part of my story that I'm not stuck in, but I'm gladly attached to. It's this part of my story that's kind of poetic and quirky and would make a good one-man play. Yet, there's definitely a part of my story that I'm absolutely stuck in, and it's pretty much ruining my life. I've developed such social anxiety, if you can believe it, over, the last 15 years that I've more or less just completely hidden from people. That's not completely true, but I've developed a very strong addiction to cannabis. And as more and more information is unfurling out there about cannabis addiction and just about addiction at large, and me being a thinker and, generally a person who's concerned for my own well-being and for the well-being of others, as well as belief in my own potential, and as well belief in the potential of almost all others. I find myself very pressed to share. And for somebody who likes to think a lot and who is also kind of has diarrhea mouth when I'm in my optimal state, for somebody like that who then gets really bad social anxiety that's like so widespread that it even has affected some of my deepest relationships, my closest friends and my deepest loved ones, like it's almost like there's no resting place because the social anxiety has gotten that bad. For somebody like that, a good example is this. There's this guy from the island that I'm from, who he must have had social anxiety really bad. He must. because developed in a way that he never talked. He was like the silent one. He was social. He'd come out. He was in bands. He would come out. You'd always see him out on the town, but he almost like very seldom said anything to people, and he just sat by himself. And I was always concerned about him. And then recently I met somebody who was from the same island, and she told me that she made mention of this person, and she said he on the ferry, she's like, there must be something with him, because on the ferry from the island to the mainland where I live, the mainland, a bigger island, he screams to himself or to the sky, or he just lets it wail. He lets it out. And that really struck me. I just heard about this a couple days ago. And then I saw him, interestingly, and he actually looked really good, whereas he used to look like very scary. So this kind of touched me because I feel the same way. I am a noisemaker. I'm a singer. I'm a performer. And I'm also a heady person. I've got lots of ideas, and I can feel very passionate about those ideas, even argumentative, or downright defensive about those ideas. Like, what do I do? But I've been silenced for some reason, whether it's my reason completely. No, it's also, I'm a big fan of blaming society, but not just like, oh, it's society's fault, but like, let's take a real look at things. Are we feeling well in general? Are young people such as me, young, talented, even dare I say privileged people, but we can get into that in another story. Are we feeling well in general in this society, in this world, in this time and age? Well, no, statistics are showing us not really. 20 years ago, you didn't hear too many, anxiety was something that you kept in the cupboards, in the Valium pills, and just was like a sort of thing. Now, it is one of the strongest connecting points of the upper millennial age. I was auditioning for a play, and I'm a strong singer, so I nailed the singing part of the play, and then it came to the dancing and, bringing it part of the audition, and I fell completely apart. I felt my confidence plummeted, and I went pale and started shaking in my mind. I probably wasn't that bad, but, what was I talking about? Fuck, this is the problem with cannabis. Well, it's an experiment anyway. I did end up getting the part, but the director, he said, before I offer you this part, is there anything you want to tell me? Because I'm sure he picked up on this sporadic, like, this guy who came in and with so much confidence, and then suddenly this 180, just like body language showing the full depths of my nervousness and my like self-esteem issues, which is ultimately what a social anxiety is gotta be heavily about. Anyway, so he asked me, he's like, is there anything you want to tell me before I offer you this part in the play? And I didn't want to this is the stuck in the story thing that I'm kind of confused about, because in the name of honesty, I wanted to share. Everything about my struggles and my story, and how I'm a really special person with a lot of potential who somehow, for some confusing reasons, like a very complicated soup that has been stirred up and whisked, and everything's all just melded together. But then part of me knows that I'm stuck in my story, and if you keep on repeating, I've got an addiction, I've got a social anxiety disorder, then the healing is never going to become conscious, and you'll stay stuck in your story, and you repeat it to yourself enough times, and it just becomes truer and truer every time. So I settled in that moment. I said, yeah. And I'm going to bring this point around back home. We've been on a long journey since a minute or two ago when I actually brought up why I was doing this audition and whatnot. But I said, yeah, I settled for a compromise. I said, I am, when I was acting here, of course. I said, yeah, I struggle a lot with anxiety, and managing that is a big part of my life, and it takes up a lot of my energy, my mental energy, my focus. And he, the director, and the other guy who was his consort, sitting there like on his shoulder, kind of like about my audition as it was going on, both visibly relaxed. They went, oh, me too. Oh, did you? Yeah. I just took 2 months off work because of anxiety. And the guy was like, I just went off my medication. And he's like, oh, yeah. I've got some techniques that I've been working on. I'd be happy to share with you. All of a sudden, I felt comfortable again. I mean, I knew I got in the role, so I was feeling kind of, actually, way less comfortable. I felt terrified. As I said, I've been developing this social anxiety, this psycho-spiritual quandary that has somehow inhibited me almost inexplicably from my potential. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're tuning into this video, then perhaps you do know what I'm talking about. I just smile because this is my first YouTube video ever, and I didn't think I was actually going to do it this time. But I clicked record, and hey, it's recording, so then this is the first one. Hi, my name is Kyle. Nice to meet you. Anyway, my point being, it's very common for people in our generation to connect over the concept of having anxiety, of having depression, of having mental illnesses, of, amongst my peers, there's this almost commendability for going on disability. If somebody says so I'm on disability now, most often I hear is good for you, because we're young people and other people, young people and the rest of them, are waking up to that there's something, maybe not something wrong here, because we repeat that too many times and we could get stuck in that story. But that there could be something much better. That we can do better, we can feel better, and we know that, and we can give back to the world and better fulfill our potentials. So, I have not done any of that. I've done a fractional amount, and as I said, this anxiety, this social, psycho-spiritual stuckness that cut me off from striding the path of unfolding potential, greater unfolding potential, has been unfolding for about 15 years. I'm going to turn 32 on March 15th. That's in 6 days. And, for the record, I've been smoking cannabis since I was 13, and I do think in a way that's when it all started. But this has been developing over this long period of time, and I'm just sick of not talking about it. I'm sick of not letting myself blab. I'm sick of being the shy one amongst a group just because I know that I have social anxiety, and so if I'm talkative, if I allow myself to spew out some of my thoughts whoa, I'm setting the bar, everybody's gonna hear me as a talker and hear me as a social person, and then when am I ever gonna be able to hide and be real? Because the real me feels anxiety around people. That's the truth. It doesn't matter if you had a great time talking to me and you think I'm a charming young person, or if we've had this heart to heart that felt so good the chances are that I had a significant amount of anxiety, like a demon, or not a demon. I do not want to conjure that image. That's a story that we don't want to bark up right now. But okay, imagine I don't know, an annoying cartoon in your ear just going like, ah, the Mars Attacks, guys. Meanwhile, I'm eye to eye with some gorgeous girl who's I'm trying to chat with. She seems very willing to chat with me, and I'm like, sorry, are you are you studying here in Nanaimo? I know you can relate. Anxiety, it's a fucking bitch. And should we just accept that that this is, how we are now? This is the byproduct of where we're at in the universe, and or as a race or as a culture, and that, the best you can do is manage it, take some pills, work some breathing techniques, and manage your anxiety? Or is it possible that we can tap into that thing that we're missing, that little missing click or that missing link in our psycho-spiritual malfunction, which I'm sure is different, for everybody, but what if we can activate that, and what if we can, I don't know, cure the problem from the roots up? I'm babbling. I have no idea what this YouTube channel is going to be about. I have a lot of I know what it's going to be about. It's going to be about addiction, my own experiences, and as I said, my birthday's coming up in a couple days here, and that's hopefully going to be a momentous time in my recovery. The contract is not filled out, but I've been working off of Seb Grant's Quit Weed program, and I want to talk more about my cannabis addiction. Not tonight. I've taken up more than enough of your time. I don't think I've done a good job at introducing myself, only in other than showing, maybe just a little example of my frantic, crazy mind. Just a little splurge of the mind of Kyle, which is the working name of my YouTube channel. Oh, it's so pretentious. The mind of Kyle. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching my video. It's nice to meet you guys. This feels really good. Adios. Until next time. Get off! Get off already! Don't!